It's not your niche. I know that's where your mind goes when you're doing all the right things, the business God gave you to steward, and still hearing nothing back. No replies, no booked calls, nobody asking how to work with you. But here are 4 reasons you're stuck. And the crowded niche one didn't make it to the list. Let's start with reason 1. Because reason 1 is what creates the other 3. Reason 1 is borrowed. Borrowed means you didn't write the words. Somebody else built the tool you're using, the template, the framework, the GPT, the prompt pack. And when the language came back from their work, the words on your page stopped describing the actual thing only you are uniquely qualified to do. Here's what borrowed looks like. If you're anything like me, you have a folder full of templates, frameworks, prompt packs, and 17 open tabs, all going at once, all because someone swore their thing was going to be the thing that gives you the breakthrough you've been praying for. So you downloaded it, dropped it into AI, posted whatever came back, and waited for the magic to happen. And nothing. No replies. The freebie folder got fuller, your dream seen farther. And it's a habit I fell into too. We reach for and trust one more ready-made thing somebody else built instead of building the thing God entrusts us to build. The numbers back this pattern up. In 2025, Constant Contact surveyed 2,500 small business owners. Only 18 said they feel very confident in their marketing. The year before was 27%. So business owners are putting more marketing out into the world and trusting it less than they did a year ago. So more doing doesn't always mean better. In my 20 years as a global brand spokesperson and international educator, my job was making sure the company's message was crystal clear. Why? Because that's what gets results, what gets the right people to perk up and take action. Same with you. The message God gave you has to be sharp, so sharp it can pierce through your noisy niche and reach the people who need you. If it's buried under everyone else's advice, generic templates, nobody hears it. And you don't get to change lives you were sent to change. That's reason 1. Before I give you reason 2, I want you to go grab your bio, your one-liner, your elevator pitch, whatever you call it. I'll wait because I want you to hold each reason up against as we go. Okay, quick heads up before we keep going. These 4 stack. Each one builds on the next one before it. Notice the first one and the other 3 get way easier to spot. Reason 2, it's that you're unclear. You struggle to explain how you help people in concise, specific words. You're a 10 at what you do. Your God-given skills aren't in question, not even a little. The second you try to put what you do into words, it comes out like a long-winded ramble, coated with fancy words only you and your peers understand, and then wrapped in credentials for good measure. Then you tack one more thing on, like a but wait, like the late night infomercials, so you don't leave anybody out. And then you summarize the whole thing to make sure they got it. And by the time you stop talking, the person you thought was listening tuned out 3 sentences ago. And this isn't just a you problem. I hear, I can't explain what I do without rambling constantly because we think the longer, more credentialed version makes us sound more impressive. But surprisingly, it does the exact opposite. There's a Princeton study, Oppenheimer 2005, that tested this 5 different ways. And every single time, the more needlessly complicated the writing was, the less intelligent readers judged the writer to be. When you use fancier words, people trust you less. And get this, in the same study, 86% of the students admitted they complicate their writing on purpose to sound smarter without realizing it's working against them. So the fix for reason 2 isn't more polish. The fix is taking words out. Cut it down to who you help, why it matters, and stop. Stop talking. Do that right now with the bio you pulled up. Can you say it in one breath? Who you help, why it matters now. Or do you say it 3 different ways before you think they understand? Because if you have to clarify the thing you just said to the person you're meant to help, they're scrolling right past your stuff. Clear beats clever. Specific beats smart every single time. That's 2 down. Borrowed and unclear. And if you're good in these 2, stay with me, because the thing keeping you invisible isn't your niche, I promise. It's usually one of the next 2. Reason 1 was borrowed, reason 2 unclear, and reason number 3 is generic. Generic means somebody could slap their logo on your words and nobody would know the difference. Now remember 1, borrowing somebody else's framework, forcing your unique God-given message on it. Well, reason 3 is that borrowed thing sounds like once it's out in the world, and whether it represents you at all. I'm sure you've experienced this. You typed your thing into AI and it handed you back perfectly usable stuff, a paragraph that sounds like somebody with 0 personality, no point of view, and none of the expertise you have. It's smooth and so interchangeable that somebody else could put their logo on that exact paragraph, call it theirs, and nobody knows the difference. There's nothing in it that positions you as the powerhouse you are. It's simply a sequence of words that really don't say anything. One of the women I work with put it this way: it sounds like a soulless mannequin wrote it. She wasn't asking for fancier writing. She said, I just want my stuff to represent me, to do me justice. And she's right to want that. And so are you. Not for your ego, but because your point of view is the thing that makes somebody stop, trust you, and say yes. Take that out, and there is nothing much left for them to choose you. And listen, that's not you being bad at this. That's the tool doing exactly what it was built to do. No, I'm not here to make AI the villain, because honestly, I use it personally every day. And you've probably noticed I like backing up what I say with facts. And here's another one. 20 years of training people will do that to you. I don't get to say unsubstantiated things. So here's one more. And if you're multitasking, come back to me. You need to hear this one. There's a 2024 study published in Science Advances by 2 researchers named Dashi and Hauser. Everybody in that study had the same job: write a short story. One group wrote it in their own words. The other groups got story ideas from AI first, then wrote. Readers scored the AI-assisted stories higher, more creative, better written, more enjoyable. And the people whose writing improved the most were ones who struggled with the writing in the first place. Sounds like a win, right? Here's the other half of that story. When the researchers lined all of those AI-assisted stories up to each other, they were a lot more similar than the ones people wrote on their own. Better, but more alike. Both at the same time. And that's not a contradiction once you see how it was measured. Better got judged one story at a time by somebody who never saw the others. The more alike situation was only obvious when you put them all side by side. That's exactly what happens with your sales page. On your screen, perfectly fine. Online, next to the ones that used a one-size-fits-nobody template just like you did, they make no difference. Which is exactly how you use AI matters. Your voice first, then AI runs with it. In that order, always. You give AI the God-given message that's already in you, which, by the way, is exactly what I do in my Be Seen membership. I help you extract your expert level message and give it buyer-ready language so your God-assigned people see you and choose you. Then AI can carry your message farther and faster. And instead of helping you blend in, it helps you stand out. So reach for the tool first, and all you're doing is blending in quicker. Let's compare these examples side by side. Here's the AI version. I help women live their best life. And here's one with actual fingerprints on it. I help women over 50 who wake up at 3 in the morning with their heart pounding, wondering if it's their thyroid or if it's stress. And we find out which one it is. Same coach, same work. One of those attracts the right people and walks them through the door. The other is a sign on the door nobody looks at or walks through. So sounding polished and sounding like you are two completely different things, and only one of them makes your people notice you. But even a sentence that sounds exactly like you can still miss the mark when it isn't positioned at anybody. So that's reason 4. 3 down, and my niche is still too crowded, isn't the thing keeping you invisible. Reason 4 is called unaimed. Unaimed means you're talking to everybody. This one's sneaky because it hides inside good writing. Your one-liner can be clear, it can sound just like you, and it can still be aimed at everybody, which means nobody reads it and thinks, that's exactly what I need, and clicks to learn more. Here's how it happens, and it's very common for multi-talented women. You're not quite sure who you're called to serve. Maybe you've changed your niche 3 times because of it, and you're a little scared to get too specific because what if you pick wrong? And that's not you questioning your calling, that's you trying not to shut anyone out. So you keep it broad on purpose. You write it so nobody could object to it. And that right there is the problem. If nobody can object to what you say, you're not being specific enough to attract the people waiting for what only you have to offer. The flip side of that is when nobody can object, nobody can recognize you as the answer to their prayers. People feel when something was written for them. McKinsey asks consumers about the businesses they buy from. 71% said they expect a business to talk to them like it actually knows them. And 76% said they get frustrated when that doesn't happen. Now, that's research about big consumer brands. I'm not saying it works exactly the same way for a one-woman business, but you already know it from your own scrolling. You blow right past the stuff that doesn't speak to your specific needs and wants. But you stop for the thing that reads like somebody was in your head when they wrote it. So watch how one weak sentence can carry all 4 reasons. Say a bio reads, I'm a certified coach helping people reach their full potential and live their best life. 1, borrowed. That phrase is too broad. You can tell it's from a generic formula. 2, unclear. Full potential to do what exactly? 3, generic. Swap the logo. It's anybody. And 4, unaimed. People is everybody. So it excites nobody. One short sentence has all 4 reasons nobody's clicking on your stuff. Now look at your bio, the one you pulled up when we started. Which of the 4 reasons is keeping you stuck? If you said, oh my gosh, that's me on a couple, that's normal. And I'll tell you why in a sec. Because this is what I promised at the very beginning. It's not about starting a new niche or you not being enough. It's the messaging. That's the thing keeping you invisible and stuck. Every one of these 4 reasons is just a different way your God-given message got buried. None of them is a verdict on you. So you're probably asking yourself a question. I'm good at what I do, and you are. How did I miss all of this in my own message? And the answer is almost too simple. You couldn't see it because you're standing too close to it. You probably read your own page hundreds of times, and it sounds great to you. Of course it does. You wrote it after your decades of experience in your field. Every word there makes complete sense to you. You know what the industry word stands for. You've used it forever. So you literally cannot proofread your own words the way somebody reads them for the very first time. Nobody can proofread their own blind spot. That's how expertise works. The deeper you know something, the harder it gets to read your own words like somebody who's never done the work you help with. Let's do a quick test. Think about the one thing people who know you and know your work always ask about. Did that language ever make it into your bio? For most of the women I work with, the answer is no. The most obvious problem you solve or the outcome people keep coming to you for gets left out. Why? Because from where you're standing, it feels too basic to even mention. And that right there is your blind spot, which is why the fix can't come from more polishing. More polishing is you back at your own page, filling in the same gaps you already can't see. It has to come from someone else looking at your copy with fresh eyes. You came here to find out what's actually going on, right? By now, you probably can name which one of the four reasons is tripping you up, and you want to do something about it. So let me help you with your first small needle-moving step, your one-liner. Upgrade it so the algorithm and the right people both know who you are. A while ago, my niece, 10 years old at the time, looks at me and says, Titi Wandy, why are you a hairstylist? I owned a salon for 21 years, by the way. She wasn't asking why I liked it. She wanted to know why I was one. I wasn't expecting that question. She's 10. So I said, I like making women feel better about themselves. That's it. One specific sentence in my own words. Simple enough for a fifth grader to understand. And you know what? The first handful of words you say when a 10-year-old asks you what you do before you get all fancy, that's your one liner, your elevator pitch. So watch me sharpen one the way I'd sharpen yours. Say, I help second career women who are great at what they do, but freeze the second someone asks them to explain it. Freeze. It's close, but let me get more specific. I help women who are excellent at what they do, but go blank the moment somebody asks what they do. See how that's less polished and 10 times more specific? That's the point. Unpolished is fine. Specific is queen. Okay, your turn. Pause the video, grab a pen and paper, and write your one-liner. Who you help, why it matters. What you'd say when a 10-year-old asks what you do, the thing God gave you to steward. Don't make it sound good, make it specific. Get the first thing that comes to mind sentence on paper. Okay? Now, pause one more time and go grab my free GPT called Get Off Mute in the description. And if you're watching on TV, scan the QR code on your screen right now. It'll help you refine those words you just wrote in 5 minutes or less so you can go use it this week. Put it in places people check when they're deciding about you. The top of your bio, the first line in your about page, and rehearse it so you know exactly what to answer that church lady who asks, so, what is it that you do? Then two quick things. One, name the reason or reasons that's tripping you up, borrowed, unclear, generic, unaimed, name it. It's easier to stop yourself from doing it again once you know what it is. You see, it's not your niche. I told you. And two, I'm going to answer the question you probably asked yourself 100 times. Yes, you are equipped exactly the way God designed you. You have a calling, and you already have what you need in you. No more trying to fit in. The silence you've been experiencing doesn't have the last word. Sometimes you do everything you're asked to, and the room stays still for a while. That's not proof you got it wrong. God prepared you for your people, and they're out there waiting for you, which means this is bigger than you and your bio. This is a mission.